we're at a point in our web design journey where we're making a lot of files, and where we have files that are on our desktop and files that are on the server, and where we're building up file structures. And so maybe we want to be a little conscious about how we're treating them and how we're organizing them. But this is a really funny image that I like to reference a lot. Yeah, and raise your hand if you've done this. I do this all the time. So people, when they make files for clients, very often you'll be like, okay, this file is I'm making an image of I'm making a postcard. So you'll be like, okay, this is my postcard.psd, and then the client responds and they're like, oh, but I want the sky to be a little bit more pink, and they're like, okay, postcard pink, and then there's like more feedback and more feedback. And so this isn't a very good way of keeping track of the changes in your files, because how do we know what the final is, and which one is the new final the second one, or is the new final the second one? Like, how do we even know the order of them unless we see them all at once? So naming is a crucial part of version control, and for us, we have a certain file structure that we adhere to. So I will end. This is definitely an example of aspirational structuring, because as you can see on my desktop, it's horrible, and if I had a day to organize it, but I just do not have a day. So I did this earlier today with a student in office hours, but we should all do this. On your desktop, you can make a folder, or in documents or wherever you like to keep your folder. You can make a folder for your website that you're going to keep locally. So there's this idea of local and remote storage, or local and live storage. So we say that what is on the internet, the version of our site that's on the internet, is the live site. Because if I go there now, this is my live site. Like, it's live, it's up there. Here it is. I can click on it, see this file. But then what I have here is my local version. So what I have here is my local version, and this is the version I might want to work on locally, especially because CyberDuck does this really annoying multi-factor authentication thing. And also, every time I upload a new file, it asks me, do you want to overwrite this file? And I have to say yes. And so it takes some time I have to log into it and all that kind of thing. It takes some time to upload files to CyberDuck, and I don't want to work on that all the time. I rather work on the files on my computer, and then when I'm done, I can just push them all to CyberDuck. So those are your other two keywords for today, are push and pull. So we push files to the server and pull them from the server. And while we're doing all of that, their versions might start changing. Like, how do you know which one is the new one? Is it the one on the server, or is it the one on your desktop? And like, what is what, and how do we keep track of it? So all of this is to say that we want to create a structure that's easily referenced with our names, as well as with if there's numbers and iterations. And then we want to, like, kind of in segments, pull things up and down. Because if you look at what I did last week in downloads, probably, I downloaded like several index files. Okay, I do not see them, but you can even see, like, here, I've downloaded like 3 of the same paper that I'm working on. This is my paper that I'm working on, and yet I have like 3 different downloads. and it's a bit of a mess. So we're going to create a local file structure that's going to be the same as our structure on CyberDuck. And one way you can do this, if you didn't make your CyberDuck files yet, is to make a new file on your desktop. But if you already have them, and I think you should probably have them, since we made them last week together, you can just pull them down into your local file. So I have in public HTML. So public HTML is the directory that the server uses to tell the browser that it's your website. It's the part of your server that is seen as a website. So I'm not going to call it that on my desktop. On my desktop, I'm going to make a folder that's called Web Design Website. So the website for this class 2020, because I also taught this class last year, so I have one that's called 2019. So, and you can call it whatever makes sense for you. So it might be my portfolio site, it might be my travel log, my web journal, whatever kind of website it is that you're making. And then inside, we're just going to pull these down. So I happen to have an index and that cat file. So I just overwrote my index. You can see in the preview now I have content on it. And then I already made a me folder here. These are some example files, but I'm going to get rapidly out of sync because I'm like making files here and there. I don't want that. I'm just going to take all the files I have here, pull them down. Now it's asking me if I want to overwrite my files. So as we mentioned before, you can't have two files with the same name in the same place. And I'm saying, yes, I definitely want to overwrite them because the last time that I worked on my website, I worked on it in CyberDuck. So I want, that's the latest version, and I want whatever that is to be on my desktop. So I'm going to say continue. Okay, so now I have all my files here, and I don't have to like download them and like right click on them and edit them with, and then I don't know where they go when I do this edit with. I think they go to downloads. Like I don't need to worry about that. I can just edit this directly, and when I'm done, I can take all of the files that are there and push them to CyberDuck. This is going to greatly benefit you as the semester progresses and as our sites become more complicated. So we're downloading all of our CyberDuck files so that we have them locally, so we can work on them locally. That is our basic operating structure that we're going to go on.